Hey, what's up, dudes? Okay, so here we are, we're back, and now we're transitioning. Last time we were here, we were looking at a couple of things. We looked at a piano staff and piano layout, and we looked at a guitar layout. But as we can see, it's very difficult for those two layouts to work with each other. A piano player is going to have a hard time with the guitar, and the guitar guy is going to have a hard time with the piano, so we can't use that. So we use a universal system called the staff. Okay, and the staff is made up of 5 lines: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces. And they're not strings on the guitar, so that's one of the confusions I find, is that tab looks very similar, but it has an extra line because each line represents the 6 strings of a guitar. And we don't use numbers to designate anything, we use notes. And depending on how the note is written, we know how long to keep the note. So if you think about it, we need to do pitch, we need to do duration, we need to do silence, right? There's all these things that go into music, speed, and how the rhythms get broken down. It can get very complex. To write this out, to write out something as complex as music, we need a pretty efficient system. And this system has been developed for many years, and it works pretty well. So here we are. We have these 5 lines, and we need to somehow choose a note, because we can choose whatever we want and pick a note as sort of a home base, and then work out the rest of the notes from that, and everyone agrees that that's what we're looking at. And then when we pass the music around, everyone plays it the correct way. If we make up the rules as we go along, then no one knows really what to do, because it's chaos. So here what we need to do is designate what pitch these clefs are going to be at. Now there's a bunch of different clefs out there. G Clef, also known as treble clef; F clef, also known as bass clef; C Clef, which is more of a classical. It's pretty rare, you don't see that too often. But let's just try one. Well, first we'll put a line in. That's like a measure line to say, okay, we're going to start with music. We don't want to leave this open-ended. And then to draw the G Clef, you lay down a single line like this. And then you're going to make a G, and you're going to swirl down and back and then around and then over this second to last line. So we go down and we go over and we swirl around just like that. And through the miracle of pencil, we have written in a G. And this swirl around this line right here is so key, because this little back swirl tells us this note is a G. And then based on that, we know the next note is A, and then B, and then C, and then D, and then E, and then F. And then we know the note below G is going to be F, and below that is going to be E, and below that is going to be D. So we have a starting point. Now the other one we could do, we'll put our little line here, is we can go up and back like that. My bottom's a little wavy, but you can try and get that smooth. It looks like a sort of a candy cane. And then you put like 2 little dots right here. Okay, now in between those 2 dots, and sometimes I like to start it there, but I see other notations, they don't start it there. So really focus on the 2 dots and not where it starts, is this note right here. So as we said, this note here is G. This note here is F, which is why we call this the F clef. This clef is lower in pitch than this clef. And usually when they're put together, and sometimes they are combined, you'll always see the treble clef on the top and the bass clef down below. Just so we know, right, this is higher in pitch than that. So time always goes like this, right? Always linear, and it moves across. Now, we have wormholes, so we can jump back in time. We never read backwards. We always read forwards, but we can get to a spot and then jump back and repeat it, because, music repeats itself very often. And sometimes they'll say, play this little part like 3 times in a row and then continue on. Or go to this point here and there'll be a little symbol. And you go back and you find that symbol and you continue on from there again. And that's so the guy doesn't, or woman who's writing this out doesn't have to write out the whole thing. They write out all the parts, right? And songs are broken into parts, right? Section A, Section B, Section C. A common formula would be like, how about A, B, A, C, A, B, right? Or abacab. We could even call the song that if we wanted to, right? So time goes like this, and pitch goes up and down, right? Pitch goes up, pitch goes down. So both clefs, up and down, right? Time goes like this. Sometimes, if you're a piano player, we would, it depends on the instrument. If you're guitar, you're just using this. If you're bass, you're just using this. But a piano would put a line and connect these two because the range of the piano is so great. They actually need both clefs to write out their music. Guitar and bass don't have to worry about that. So here, and sometimes they'll put this like little bracket like that, right, a little bow. This would be called the grand staff. Well, there's my phone. All right, the grand staff. So, what you should take away from this is time goes like this, left to right. Pitch goes up and down. G note starts here, and the F note is right here. This is lower in pitch than this one. We would have to go F, G, A, B, and then in the middle here, there's almost like an imaginary line. It doesn't really get written this way, but I think it helps. This is middle C. And then C would be D, would be the next space. E would be this line. F would be this space, and then G. See how that connects? F, G, A, B is this space. C, this middle C. And then D, E, F, and look, here's G. Right, so we've connected the two staffs. And that's it. No one ever writes this like that. It would be written like this or like this. These two notes are the same note, C, and in fact it's middle C. Okay, so I know that's a lot to take in, but there you have it. What you should take away from this video is G clef is the treble clef, and that's the G note. F clef is the bass clef, and that's the F note. In between the two is middle C, and if you walk your way up from F and roll all the way up to G, the two will connect. Time goes across, pitch goes up and down. And that's it. All right, guys. Well, until next time, rock on.